So explore and persist challenges. Your first option, you can recreate a famous work of art with food, yourself, other items at your house. So there's a link to the Met Museum that's in New York. At the very beginning of quarantine, this was a popular social media challenge. Some of you may have seen it before. Many of these involve people, but you do not have to use people. You can just use objects in your house. Oh, there's one right there. And I'll show you a student example from first quarter as well. So they've chosen a famous painting, and then they've recreated it at home. So that is the challenge to you as well. And again, you don't have to have people in it. You can do an abstract painting if you want. So here's one from a student first quarter. He chose this painting by Need called Carpet, and then he used objects in his house, namely some laundry. So you might notice that white shape is being shown using a sock. There's that. He's got his green square represented with a green Zelda t-shirt back here. You've got a yellow grocery bag and that yellow box over there. So whatever you're doing, you're going to end up taking a photograph of it to post it. So there's option one. If you're not sure where to find artwork to copy or recreate, I posted or linked the Tate Kids website. We went to, I think we did this on Monday, and you can see where that student found his inspirational artwork, and you can look through these or you can look up your own. Option two is a beautiful day outside. So if you want to get out of your living space, go on a walk. But look around as you walk, pay close attention to overlooked surfaces. Bring a crayon and a piece of paper. You will find a piece of ground that you respond to in some way, or you could find like a tree or a wall, and you will make a rubbing by placing the paper on top of that surface and dragging the crayon slowly over it. If you can't or don't want to go outside, you can take a walk around your living space and find at least 5 interesting surfaces. This means you need 5 different textures. If you decide, I'm going to do my table, and it's smooth, and so it just looks smooth, and then you decide, and I'm going to do my chair, it's also smooth, and the wall, it's also smooth, well, that's not a texture, and it's not interesting. A texture would be something, so like if I'm looking at this bag, I'm going to need not the surface of the bag necessarily, but maybe the zipper pull. So the zipper pull has a texture that if I close my eyes, I can touch it and know that it is a texture because I can feel it with my eyes closed. So that's what a texture is. So there is a video you can watch. I'll just fast forward to the actual rubbing part. So in this video, there's a book with a indented cover that has like a design on it. You can kind of see it a little bit there. But once the paper is on top of it, you use the crayon. You can use pencil too, it just takes longer. And then you have a texture. You would label what it is of. So again, you would need 5 different textures, and it's not just like this is bumpy and this is bumpy and this third one is also bumpy. Pick interesting things. Coins work really well. Medals, if you have a medal from a sports team, work well. Choice 3 is to hunt for the alphabet around your home. Spell your name or initials by taking a picture of those items. You are not making your initials with items from your home. You are finding them. So what does that mean? You will look at just regular items, such as a chip clip, and notice, wait a second, that actually looks like the letter A. Or maybe you've got a piece of ribbon curled somewhere. There's the letter G. Or a hanger. There's the letter J. A tire. Maybe y'all can see the S in there. So you're looking where things already exist. You can see this photograph was taken upside down to make the U. And it's the way you take the photo that help us notice the letters. So a student example for this one. Some of hers work better than others. I think the U and the R work the best. The frames, I think, need to be cropped. This one could look like an A, perhaps if we cut off the bottom part of the frame. All right, your next opportunity would be to create an at-home art tower. Inspiration for that comes from a stone artist named Michael Graham, and he makes gravity-based sculptures. So you can watch him create this. There is no glue, everything is balanced together just through gravity. And that was a popular one. We got quite a few towers from students. The taller, the better, the more interesting materials, the better. That's really that exploration piece and the persistence piece. Our fifth option would be to make your own paint with food at home. Coffee works really well for this. Hot chocolate powder works really well. So essentially it's something with color that would stain a piece of paper, and you're adding maybe a little extra water to it and then painting with it. There's a video for this one, and it shows you how to do coffee painting. You are welcome to draw an image first and then add to it, or you can just paint with the food. If you have more questions or have like an item at your house and you're like, ooh, how can I turn this into paint? You can ask me in a breakout room. And we have several students who did that. So there's some coffee paintings. And last but not least, you can do some photography. You would turn off a screen in your home. So whether it's a computer, a phone, if you do this end up doing this at night because you're doing other old work for art today, could be a window even. Anything dark enough to create a reflection. Then you'll take a series of 3 pictures of the screen. So you would have to have 2 devices, right? Or something to take a picture and something that is reflective. Move around to different locations, experiment with lighting. This particular picture comes from where I normally sit and teach class. And this is inspired by a contemporary artist, and the artist will talk through this idea through the video that I linked. So you can see some of her artwork here. And she'll explain a little bit more about this concept. So those are your 6 options. You'll start with one of them. And like I said, if it looks like you haven't truly explored or really challenged yourself, persisted, then I will have you do a second one or work longer on the one that you are doing. So that can be found in the Studio Habits Module 2, and it's called Lesson 4 Art Making. So you've got the menu linked there and the slideshow linked there as well. Questions for me